There's this really weird paradox at the heart of retirement. We spend, decades saving and planning, doing everything by the book. And then, when we finally cross that finish line, we find we can't do the one thing we saved all that money for: actually spend it.
It's the big question, isn't it? After a whole lifetime of being disciplined, of delaying gratification, why is it so incredibly hard to just flip that switch? Why do we feel so much guilt, so much anxiety about enjoying the very wealth we worked our entire lives to build? Believe me, I've been asking myself this for years.
And look, this is really personal for me. I'm not explaining this because I've got it all figured out. Honestly, I'm doing it because I need to hear it myself. I followed the playbook to a T, built a solid nest egg. But the second I was supposed to start enjoying it, I found myself completely trapped by the same old habits.
So let me just share my story with you, the confession of a so-called model retiree. About 8 years ago, I retired. I was healthy, and I had this ambitious bucket list that was going to involve passports and helmets and maybe even a lawyer. I was so ready to just step on the gas.
And yet, year after year, what actually happened was the complete opposite. My net worth just kept climbing. And the crazy part? A part of me was proud of it. I'd look at the statements and think, hey, look at me, so responsible, so financially mature. I was completely, totally missing the point.
My plan was to live large, but my reality was just more saving. I wanted to step on the gas, but I kept delaying everything. I had this incredible ambitious bucket list, but what was I doing? I was still optimizing my finances, treating retirement like it was just another job. I was letting the best, most able-bodied years of my life just slide by under some false sense of virtue.
But as I started to kind of dig into this feeling, I had this big realization. This wasn't just me. This isn't some personal failing. It's a full-blown epidemic.
And this is so crucial. If you've ever felt that weird guilt about spending money that you know you have, you are not alone. There are millions of us caught in the exact same psychological trap.
In fact, researchers actually have a name for it. They call it the retirement consumption puzzle. And yeah, it's a well-documented thing. It's basically the huge gap between what retirees could be spending to maximize their happiness and what they actually spend.
And the data really shows you the scale of the problem. Over 30% of retirees later say they regret not spending more and living more fully. And at the same time, for over 60% of wealthier households, their assets actually grow during retirement. I mean, just think about that disconnect for a second. We're saving more, but we're enjoying it less.
So what are we really doing here? We're not just hoarding money. No, we are hoarding the very currency of retirement itself. We're hoarding time. We're hoarding joy. And ultimately, we are hoarding life.
And that brings us to the uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary truth that we all have to confront. This isn't just about finances anymore. It's about mortality.
Think about it. Money is a tool. It's renewable. But time is finite. Every single minute you spend optimizing some spreadsheet instead of living an experience, that's a minute you can never, ever get back. Money is the means, right? But time and the experiences you fill it with, that is the end itself.
You know, that line from Fight Club says it all. This is it. There are no do-overs. This isn't some dress rehearsal. We are living so far below our means that it's just not rational anymore, and our opportunities are expiring.
So what's the answer? Well, it's not about being reckless, not at all. It's about a conscious, deliberate shift in your mindset. It is about learning to flip the damn switch from being a saver to being a spender. For decades, we lived with a saver's mindset. We were cautious, we were always delaying, we were optimizing, and hey, it served us well. But retirement, it demands a new operating system. We have to become bold. We have to shift from delaying to living, and from optimizing our finances to experiencing our lives.
And a big part of this shift is just rejecting the cultural story we're told about aging. If you're retired, you have likely lived for over 60 years. You have seen things. You have overcome setbacks. You've survived losses. You are not weak or fragile. I just love this quote from Robert Pagliarni. It's so blunt, but it is so true. You are stronger and more resilient today than you have ever been. So let's stop acting like we need to be coddled and start acting like the capable, experienced adults that we actually are.
Which brings us to, maybe the most important idea of all. We need to change what we're trying to grow. The goal is no longer to compound our money. The goal is to compound our experiences.
Seriously, give yourself some credit. You did the hard part. You went through the grind. You sacrificed. You made it. And you now have this incredible privilege of being able to convert that financial wealth into life wealth. It's finally time to turn that money into memories.
So what does that look like in practice? It means you book the damn trip you've been putting off. You give that big, generous gift to someone you love. You buy the one big thing you've always wanted. You splurge on the extravagant experience, and you do it without guilt. You spend it on purpose. For all those years, the magic of compound interest was our guiding star. Well, now we need a new one, the magic of compound experience, because memories build on each other. Joy builds on itself. That is the new portfolio we should all be focused on growing. And that is what I want to leave you with. Let's stop hoarding and let's start living. Because look, if you don't spend it, your daughter-in-law's French bulldog is getting a jeweled GoPro harness with your money. So I'll ask you directly, what experience will you compound first?